to another episode of the Multiverse Musings vidcast, but for the purposes of the show we are recording today and subsequent reviews, unless Green Lantern is heavily featured every episode, as I'm sure some people want, but unrealistic, this will be called the Stargirl Summer School Spectacular. And that is because we are going to be reviewing episodes 2 and 3 of Season 2 of Stargirl. And with me to help me do that, because I don't want to talk to myself, and you people don't want to hear me talk to myself, is my co-host, the Green Lantern connoisseur, the Emerald enthusiast himself. Donnie?
Hey, what's up, Stargirl fans? It's the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy, the podcasting machine, the big nerd in green. It's the Emerald enthusiast, here to take you back to summer school.
Now, Donnie, do you have one of those, those aprons, a Green Lantern apron?
That is something I do not have in my collection. I would love one, though.
Well, I mean, why is that not on your Christmas list? I'm not going to get it for you, but somebody will. Steven, Alfred, where are you? Get this man a Green Lantern apron.
I'd love to have a Green Lantern.
I feel like Black Panther in the Endgame, or what is it?
Infinity War, yeah.
Infinity War. Get this man an apron, a Green Lantern apron. But yeah, that should be on your Christmas wish list, I think. So, anybody who knows Donnie, who lived close to him, and are friends of his, close friends, you might want to consider that for Christmas. I don't know.
Right.
Just
and if you don't know who I am,
yeah,
this should tell you behind me here. Yeah.
I mean, you could also pony up and buy him another statue because he doesn't have enough in there. So yeah, clearly. But the apron. Start with the apron and then work your way. Work your way up to a statue. Like apron for Christmas, statue for anniversary. Something else for birth. Just tiers.
I like how you're thinking. Yes, more collectibles for me. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yes, we are back. We've had another 2 episodes of this fantastic show that is brought to us every week. So, Donnie, why don't you give us, episode 2 is going to be extra special for us because of what we do on our other podcast, the Emerald Echo podcast. Donnie, where can they hear us muse about Green Lantern ad nauseum?
You can find the Emerald Echo podcast on iTunes and Podbean, and you can also find the Emerald Echo vidcast right here on YouTube. Please make sure to subscribe.
Now, first of all, that was a great shameless plug. But either you got something in your eye, or you're doing the people's eyebrow. I don't know which one is it, but yeah. So episode 2 is a big one for us. So what happened in this episode, Donnie?
I'll get to what's emotionally like a connection for me, but we start off by seeing Cindy again, who at this point, I'm not exactly sure what they're calling Cindy. Or is she, I thought, she's the new Dragon King or Dragon Queen, or is she Shiv? Is she Shiv or just Cindy? Anyway, so we see a flashback with her coming to meet her mother, and she is in possession of the Black Diamond, which of course Eclipso is in the Black Diamond.
Yeah.
So Cindy has been kind of solidified at this point as obviously she is a villain. She's trying to reform the ISA. So, however, there's also a flashback, and we see Jenny Lynn Hayden.
Now, wait a minute, Donnie. Now I got it because I know you're going to get you're going to get excited about this next part.
Yes.
But and rightfully so. But I should mention that Cindy's stepmother.
Or stepmother.
On the list.
Yeah.
Continue, sir.
So we see some of Jenny Lynn Hayden's backstory here. It has been modified from the comics. It's not this way in the comics, but that she lived at, a group home for youth, and we see her becoming an adult and leaving the home. It was actually named the Ordway home. It was like the Ordway home. I forget exactly what the whole name was, but Jerry Ordway, one of her creators. Let me see if I can give you a good shot of this here.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. This is her first appearance right here. All-Star Squadron number 25. Jerry Ordway's name is on this. But we see her leaving that home, and she's given something by Miss Ordway, and she looks in this little like lozenges tin, and a couple things we see there. Number one is a toy car that belongs to her brother Todd Rice, aka Obsidian, and as well as a ring. And for a Green Lantern fan, this scene made my heart just beat so hard because we see the ring. Not only do her eyes turn green and we see kind of the energy coursing through her, but the ring kind of leaps out and onto her hand. And we see that it kind of tracks the ring to the lantern. We'll see that later on. But this was just so exciting to see a Green Lantern character and all those visuals presented to us again. So
yeah, it was quite special to see when, and they got me right away when they were talking about the Ordway house.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, that's a really good pull.
Yeah,
it's deep cut, as the kids would say nowadays. Yeah, I love that, and the whole thing with when she finds the picture. I think it was the picture with her and the brother.
Yeah, that's Todd.
And Todd, Obsidian, obviously. Mm-hmm. And the toy car, which obviously comes back later in play for reasons.
Yes.
I like that they set up her brother because it gives her a quest for whenever she appears in the season.
Yes.
But also, could that be a setup to eventually bring on Obsidian?
I'm hoping so. I definitely want to see Obsidian. I mean, Jenny and Obsidian, they're often published together. They have a great dynamic as not only, brother and sister, but the children of Alan Scott. So,
because I doubt we're going to see Obsidian and Jade show up in the Green Lantern show on HBO Max. So,
I would probably not. Yeah.
I mean, if we do, they're small kids, right? Because Alan is.
Yeah, I mean, at least the first part, what we're being told about Alan there is that it takes place in the 1940s.
Right,
so.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see a place for him here. So I hope those kind of mentions are laying the seeds for that, or planting the seeds. You plant seeds. You don't lay them. Come on.
I knew what you meant.
Home and garden 101, for God's sake. Anyway, continue.
I hope people aren't watching us for gardening tips.
Oh, if they are, they're screwed. All their plants are dead.
So one of the things
I'm the Black Lantern, the Black Lantern of gardeners. The only gardening you come here for is for Guy Gardner, but.
Well, yeah, we can talk plenty about Guy Gardner. So,
you like that, is that?
Yes,
I'm
impressed. I'm impressed.
That's kind of like a dad joke. Gotta give me props. I mean, do I have to go impregnate somebody to get that kind of credit? I'm not opposed to that. I'm just going to find somebody on the list. But
right,
continue.
there you go.
I digress anyway. I don't want the responsibility. Who the hell am I thinking? Forget about that. Continue.
Okay.
I can barely raise myself.
So another thing we see is that, back in the present, we see that, Jenny and Stargirl had this big fight in their kitchen. And of course, Courtney's parents come down and they're like, what's going on here? And we see that Jenny knows who Stripesy is. And she knows about the history of the JSA.
He's a legend to her.
Yeah, he's a legend to her. They all are. Now, Courtney, she mistrusts Jade right away. Yeah. But it's not long before we see Jade wants, she never refers to herself as Jade, but Jenny wants Stripesy to help her use the ring. To learn how to use the ring.
Yes.
And we got to see for the first time outside of, again, we there was a brief, like a 1-minute scene in the Justice League movie with Yal Gur, which ironically ties to Alan Scott. Yal Gur ties to Alan Scott. But we saw Jenny form constructs with her ring, including.
Well, we also saw, Donnie, we got to give credit where credit is due. Otherwise, we're going to get attacked by a certain segment of fandom. We also saw a dead Kilowog in the epilogue.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. But my point being, I've had some people say, "Hey, you're forgetting about Yalen Gur in the Justice League." I'm like, no, I'm not, because I'm like, he was there for under a minute. It was,
exactly.
Yeah.
He had about 9 minutes less screen time than Superman did. Anyway, but just to backtrack for a second, something very important that you missed. So Jenny spends the night at with Courtney and the family.
Yeah, with the Whitmore family, right?
Yeah, right. And the next morning, she's treating the family
to pancakes.
So homemade pancakes. Now, Donnie, I got upset when I watched this. I'll tell you why. Because what the hell do we have to do on this podcast network to get pancakes from the Alfred of the show?
I actually, you know what? Later on in episode 3, I actually thought about Steven during the episode.
And also, didn't it upset you when they're talking about how good those pancakes are? I was getting ready to text Steven, listen, you better make a stack of pancakes or you're fired. I was getting upset. Everybody else is having good pancakes and not me. I don't understand what the problem is here. What's the point of having an Alfred if we can't get pancakes? So that was strike one, Steven. You're on thin ice. You better watch yourself. I don't have a watch on today, but pancakes.
You gonna do a Vince McMahon? You're fired.
Yeah, that's right.
So I will say this week there was a lot of it was a little bit of a slower episode until the end, by the way. But there was a lot of character development. Like, one of the things we're seeing is Yolanda being afraid of maybe having to use lethal force again. And we also see the Shade turn up, who's a great villain, by the way. And yeah, so there was a lot of things I thought on this episode, and outside of Jenny, which again, that was my reason for being so excited. I like the show, but as a Green Lantern fan, seeing Jade was a whole new level of excitement.
Yeah, you were so excited. You posted a video, screaming in euphoria. Yeah, it was good.
Oh man, that was a night. And seeing Jade, I'm going to be honest, when she came out of the home or whatever, and when I saw the ring go on to her finger, I teared up just a little bit, to see a character that I have read for decades coming to life, that I wasn't sure if she would ever be on a show, be in live action. For me, it was really emotional. So
yeah, it was. What I love what you mentioned about the character of the character development, and you see Yolanda struggling with what happened past season, and wrestling with that. How do you move? How does she move forward? Can she continue to do this? And I thought that was very important. And I also thought the character development in Courtney's reaction to Jenny, because she's so mistrusting, but then
she's a little paranoid of pretty much everything these days,
But what she said was important. What Pat said was your superpower is being open, welcoming, and trusting of people. Give this girl a chance.
Yeah, Pat's a great father figure on the show, by the way.
Yeah, I love the character, and Luke. Yeah, it's Luke, right?
Luke Wilson, yes.
Luke Owens on the Marvel show. Luke. He does a great job of playing that role. So I love that. But what I love about the reason why Courtney is the way she is, acting the way she is to Jenny, is because there's a little bit of jealousy there in that for most of season 1, Courtney thought she was the legacy character.
Mm-hmm.
She thought she was the daughter of Starman, which she still could very well be.
And we've seen Starman show up now. He seems to be figuring in prominently this season.
Right. So, but like her resentment made sense. Like the explanation made sense.
Yes. And we saw what you talked about there towards the end. The lantern is getting ready to explode. And Jenny tells everybody, she's like, you all ought to get away for your safety. And Courtney's like, no, I'm here with you. I'm not.
If you tell me you saw Kyle Rayner in the green, I'm gonna slap you from here.
From Canada. It looks like the energy kind of formed around Jenny in such a way that it looks like one of her symbols that she wore in her costume. Not the Kyle Rayner symbol, but one of the earlier ones, like what they were using. And if you go frame by frame, you can actually see it. So
yeah, okay, I buy that. See that I buy. That's acceptable.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised that I sat there and went frame by frame?
Absolutely not. No, not one bit. But I'm not going to begrudge you. I did that with every scene. Every time I see Margot Robbie, I did a freeze frame.
Oh, but yeah.
Is there a reference to her being my multiverse wife in any of these frames? No. Okay. Next.
But yeah, so we see Jenny actually transform into Jade. Jade, she now has all this energy within her. We don't get anything further after that. So the inference is that she went off looking for Todd. They may have even said something about that, but I don't remember. We also see in this episode that Cindy accidentally murders her stepmother under the influence of Eclipso. By the way, Eclipso, an incredibly powerful character in the DC universe, at least in kind of the modern retelling. She didn't start out that way. But obviously, even though, the beginning dynamic is that Cindy's in control, obviously we see that she's not in complete control of Eclipso.
Yeah, for sure. She's definitely not in control. As much as she wants to be in control, she's not.
Right. Yeah. So shall we go on to episode 3?
Well, I want to mention, because you mentioned the big explosion of green, where it seems like Jenny has become the lantern in a literal sense.
Mm-hmm.
But when Pat is giving her the guidance, the explainer of how the ring works, and at first she can't really create anything, but then she puts her mind to some, is thinking about it, and she creates the construct of the toy car of her brothers.
Right.
I thought that was really nice.
Which even said Todd on the bottom. I thought that was really cool. Yeah.
So I really like that, and it looked good. Like the Green Lantern construct effects looked really good.
And I'll say it, and I'm going to reiterate this a lot as time goes on. To have someone as skilled as Issa Penarejo playing this character, I feel like Green Lantern fans are very lucky.
She was fantastic. She really portrayed that kind of the kind of new, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Her inexperience with the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fact that she was new to all this.
Right, being a novice at wielding the ring.
Thank you. There's the word.
Right.
So much for that degree I got. It's useless. But anyway, no. But so
Steven didn't give you the pancakes, but do I get a bonus for that this week?
Well, I mean, if you make pancakes, you get a bonus.
Okay. That's Shui.
Next Saturday, if I get pancakes before we start.
Okay. You really want me to mail you pancakes from America?
Oh no, you'd have to get one of those Star Trek teleporters.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Can you imagine? That would be great.
It would be.
I could just send the pink slip for Steven over the teleporter.
There you go. You wouldn't even have to own a car. You could just teleport to work and back.
Yeah, beautiful. No, we're kidding, Steven. You're not fired. But get on. Maybe we should have Issa Panareo on and see she'll bring us some pancakes.
I'm doing my very best to try to make contact with her. I know that there's a lot of people wanting her time these days, but
yeah. No, but she was great, and I can't wait to see more of what she does with the character.
Yeah.
And I like that she told a story in an interview where when she found out who the character was, she did research on the character with her dad. That to me was the cutest thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She seems to respect the fan base of not only Stargirl fans of the show, but of Green Lantern fans. She's taking it seriously, and I definitely respect that.
Agreed.
So, episode 3 kicks off with a flashback to Christmas time. I believe it was 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the good old days. Christmas was 2010.
Back when the world wasn't, a miasma,
a dumpster fire.
Yeah, soiled miasma of infection. So this is actually right before the original JSA was killed by the ISA. And we see that Wildcat comes in, the original Wildcat, and employs Johnny Thunder to be part of the battle, and Stripesy, a.k.a. Pat, is kind of left behind. And because they said, this is only for JSA members, not sidekicks. So we see the original Johnny Thunder, and we see, the pink pin. And so that's some interesting development there for Pat to see, he's kind of carrying around, being sidelined while his, friends in the JSA were going down, and why he's kind of very protective of the kids, not only as a parent, but wondering if history's going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
So back in the present day, we see that Mike is actually being harassed by some bullies. He has the pink pin, and he releases Thunderbolt, who, by the way, I thought was absolutely outstanding looking. And by the way, I know a lot of people, yes, I want to see Jade every episode too. People are complaining, why wasn't Jade on this episode? I don't think they have the budget to do a character like Thunderbolt and Jade every episode, because those are CGI heavy characters when their powers are in use. So I look at it as, Jenny looked, when using her powers, that character looked great. Thunderbolt looks great here. So let's take what we can get here.
Okay, so a couple of things on what you just all the stuff you talked about there. The flashbacks, I love them, and I love seeing the original Wildcat. He looks so good in costume.
Oh yeah. I'm
like, damn, I want an old school JSA show too. Can we have a prequel?
I'm down. Hey, I'd be happy with just a few flashback episodes here and there that are kind of centered around the old JSA.
Or a prequel.
Oh, sure.
Or listen, when Black Adam comes out and introduces a different version of the JSA, maybe we can have a JSA HBO spinoff of the Black Adam movie. Anyway, so he looked really good. Wildcat did. Yeah. I like that. And in terms of what was it again? I forgot the name now. Damn it.
Thunderbolt or
Shade? I kept thinking of Green. Yeah. Thunderbolt. I thought he looked really good.
I did, and
it was hilarious.
Yeah, I love. Oh, first of all, like I said, I love the back and forth between Thunderbolt and Mike. Who I also like when he's like, "Yeah, I want to call myself Mikey Thunder," and Stargirl was like, "No, that's awful."
Yeah. Or when he goes, "I could really use some water right now," and then it says pouring rain.
You've got to be specific.
Right. So anyway, but Thunderbolt, you know what it reminded me of a little bit? And maybe, I don't know.
That?
The genie from Aladdin.
Yeah.
But pink.
But pink, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very pink. But I really like the CGI on the character, as I've said before. And I like the humor that he brought here. Very different kind of character. I also like that the story point here was he has to be chosen by someone who's like him. And we see that Mike kind of feels alone in all this JSA stuff with Pat and Courtney. That's his character arc now. He feels kind of left out.
Right.
So, in the meantime, we also see that the group is on the tail of Jade. And they find him at Zarek's house, and he initially doesn't confront them. He just says, sit down, and I want to talk to you. It's an interesting dynamic. And he says in here, he was like, our interests align, meaning the ISA for a while, but he's not on their side.
Right.
He's got different goals. And I like to see where he says, we can go through this the hard way, but that would be all bother and perspiration. And part of me wished that we had Steven on this show just for like 10 seconds so he could say all bother and perspiration the way that he did, because I can't.
We'll get him to do that next time he's on.
Because I can't reproduce it the way he's all bother and perspiration. It was awesome.
I thought you thought of Steven when he was talking about the tea and how steeped it was.
Well, that's good too. So
because I said to myself, I swear to God, if Jade mentions pancakes, Steven's really in some trouble.
So we see that, unfortunately, Mike shows up and kind of spoils the takedown of the Jade. The Jade, incredibly powerful. He gets away. Again, a lot of nice visuals there. So with a character like Jade and a character like Thunderbolt, this is why Jenny didn't appear this week, because, again, they can't have but so many characters that are that CGI heavy on a show like this.
Of course.
So, yeah. So, and we also see another interesting character moment. Beth, a.k.a. Dr. Midnight, is dealing with the possible divorce of her parents. We see her confiding in Our Man.
I was going to say, Iron Man was it? No, was this Spider-Man? Spider-Man movie?
It's not a crossover. Don't let me mislead you. But, yeah, so... we also saw...
I can't find the cosmic staff.
But yeah, so this was just another episode that showed the development of the team. And this also might hint at, we were talking about Cindy looking at Mike as maybe a recruit for the ISA. Maybe that's what she plays on, is his feelings of, inferiority and his feelings of isolation. Does she pull something like that?
Yeah.
So
good question. I really liked how powerful they made the Jade. Like, he took apart the new JSA like it was taking candy from a baby.
Yes, he was far too powerful for them. It really only until the cosmic staff kind of activated, he was kind of, he was taking the measure of all of them easily. So
yeah, absolutely.
So, absolutely. Again, I think this show. Some people online have said that they think this show has dropped off from last season. I think it's gotten better.
That's insanity.
Whatever. Yeah.
And I loved, like I said, I like the way Mike was feeling, and they explored that about how he feels kind of useless without the pen.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that he'd have those feelings when his stepsister's a superhero, his father has that badass armor, robot.
Yeah. And before we end here, I should mention that we see a really important development there too. Mike kind of wishes the pen away, and it goes to Jakeem.
Yes.
Who is is going to be the new wielder of the pen, the new Johnny Thunder.
Now, do you think, Donnie, as before we rate both episodes and call it a day, do you think this experience will lead Mike down the path to the ISA because we know he's on the list.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, is this how that starts? His feelings of inadequacy.
Because it seemed like they were a little bit resolved, but
right
now that he's wished the pen away, maybe that starts to creep back up, and so we'll see. It's very interesting.
Yeah. But, so and another thing I want to point out here too, in the comics, now it wasn't this initially. Spectre was kind of a B-level villain named Bruce Gordon.
Okay.
He's eventually retconned as an angel who turned evil, and he was kind of the Spectre before the Spectre replaced him.
Okay.
He is incredibly powerful. He is like an immortal being of, godlike powers.
Okay.
So if he's even a fraction of that here, the JSA, I mean, they are massively outmatched. So it's going to take all of them to deal with this villain eventually. So
yeah, true.
Anyway,
it's gonna be definitely interesting. And when Jade Green Lantern pops up again, we'll be eager to see it for sure.
Yeah.
But all right, let's rate these 2 episodes. So episode 2, how do you want to rate it? Letter grade or
let's do letter grade. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to give the second episode an A+, and the third episode an A.
Exact same scores for me as well. A+ for episode 2, and an A for episode 3. But that brings this episode to a close. If you want to talk more DC and more Stargirl and more Green Lantern, you can online. Where do they do that, Donnie? Where do they find you?
You can find
wonderful toys.
Aha. You can find me on Twitter as the Emerald Enthusiast. Let's talk comics. Let's talk collectibles. Let's talk Green Lantern.
And plug your YouTube channel too. Why then?
You can find me there as well, the Emerald Enthusiast. I do many reviews of things like this, comic books, statues, figures, what have you, anything that's Green Lantern related. As I say in my Twitter bio, I'm a collector of all things Green Lantern.
Awesome. If you want to find me on social media, it's at Adam_LeafFan on Twitter. It's the Twitter account for the network is at MMNPDC. We also have a Facebook group for the network. The link is in the description below. Click it, we'll add you, and we can continue the conversation there. But until next time, remember that Stargirl, Green Lantern, and Thunderbolt are forever. From the first wish of the pen to the last. So long, everybody.
So long, everyone.